Hi, and welcome to Infertility Unfiltered, where fertility experts and warriors are joining forces to provide you with tips, information, inspiration, and a whole lot more so that you can take back control of your life and get your baby on board. Hi, I'm Jennifer Robertson, and today we are very blessed to be joined with the very talented Devon Baeza. Now, Devon is the Fertility Finance Coach and founder of the Fertile Money Club. She combines her degrees in finance, investments, and master life coach training with her years of fertility treatment to help women make, save, and manifest money. A self-proclaimed money mindset nerd and lover of spending psychology, her mission is to make sure money doesn't stop anyone from motherhood, and I love that. Now, today, of course, we are going to be talking about money mindset, and she's going to provide us with some tips on how to manifest money yourself. And if you stick around to the end, Devon is going to tell you how you can get your hands on a free PDF download on how to fund your fertility. So thank you so much for joining us, Devon Baeza.
Thank you. I can't believe you said my name right. That's a first.
I love it, love it, love it. Now, I have a background in finance, so I am a finance nerd as well. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and this is something that comes up all of the time as well. There are two things, main things on our fertility journey that really provide us stress. It's the emotional toll and the financial toll that it takes on our bank accounts, our bodies, our life, the whole lot. So before we dive into talking about money and what it represents really, I'd love for you to tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you got into this field.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, it was really unexpected. I had endometriosis, and I knew that since I was a teenager. And they told me, if you want to have children, maybe get started sooner than later. So I was fairly young when we got married and started at about 25. And, you just don't ever expect it to be you. And especially when you are type A, driven, used to working hard and getting whatever you want as long as you're willing to work hard enough for it. You just don't take it well. And so we did a lot of treatment over 3 years. We had, I think it was 23 timed cycles. We did 6 IUIs. I had surgery for the endometriosis, surgery for polyps. We had a miscarriage. And eventually it all led down to IVF. And it was really, really difficult because we were young, we were broke, and, still in the beginning of our careers. So it wasn't that we had tons of money. Like, I didn't have a rich uncle. Well, I did have a rich uncle, but I don't think I was the favorite because like nobody offered to give us money. I'll just say that. We were really limited, and we had student loan debt, and we had a new house, and we had car payments. And so it was really, really taxing on us, like you said, in every way imaginable. I did not realize the ways that infertility would affect my life spiritually, financially, romantic relationship, work life. The financial part was the big part, but it was also the part that was really easy to focus on, which we can dive into in a little bit as well. So eventually IVF worked for us. We had 1 embryo that they said didn't look good. And I'm just going to pause 1 sec, Jennifer. Do you hear that noise? So once we had a successful IVF, afterwards, I was asked to go speak at an event talking to women about overcoming anger dealing with infertility. And afterwards, it was really amazing talking to people one-on-one, especially because we were so private about our journey. And the more I started talking about it, the more people started talking to me about it. And it was sort of this natural evolution that led me to go back and get trained as a master life coach. My degree was already in finance. I have a degree in investments as well. And so it all just came together in the most unexpected way to then be able to share with women how we paid for $30,000 out of pocket for treatment, how we then used the same things we learned during those years to pay off $50,000 worth of debt. And then we used the same system over and over again to we bought our Land Rover cash. We saved money for the down payment on the next house. Like once you do what works, you can do it over and over again. And I just want to make it a lot shorter of a time span for other people. And, you know, some life lessons are more expensive than others. And I would like for it to not cost other people as much as it costs us
Absolutely.
to learn the hard way.
So let's talk about manifesting money. Like, what is manifesting money?
So to me, manifesting simply means to make real. So that's my favorite definition of it, because it's not magic, it's not voodoo, it's not you know, anything to be nervous or scared about. I promise. It is just making things real, using the law of attraction to attract money your way, using momentum in the way you save money. There's a lot of money mindset elements that come into play as well, and a lot of money blocks that are triggered by fertility treatments, or sometimes they'll be there from childhood but are exacerbated during fertility treatment. That can really completely stop our progress if they're not addressed. So that's one of my favorite parts to talk about, because it's the stuff nobody is talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all, as you said, like they're all in the back of our minds. You know, I grew up, you know, I was raised by a single mum who, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. So I've always been very frugal with my money. But I love the manifesting and what you're focusing on growing, because I think that is such a big part in our fertility journey, you know, whether it's money or not. So I really want to dive into that side as well. So tell me some things that, you know, some blockages and how you can clear those.
Yeah, the biggest one that comes up is scarcity. So the problem is, and I can relate to what you just said about having a single mom. My parents were divorced when I was 9 and lived with my mom. And even before then, we didn't have much money. So there's a lot of people who grow up with a scarcity mindset, a scarcity mentality, that there's just not enough, that there's not enough for everybody, that if they don't grasp, control, focus on every penny, that they'll be going without. And it can really trigger some survival instincts in us. And it can also sort of force our hand and make us make decisions from a place of fear, what we don't want rather than what we do want. And so it's sometimes, I would say about half the time it is the big life event that wakes people up to what their money mindset is. Because when you have people who are newly married or in relationships where, you know, this is the first big hurdle in their marriage, all of a sudden now they have to come up with money that they didn't expect, that they weren't saving for, that isn't fun to spend. And it just sort of brings all your money stuff to the surface. And so it might not have been something you recognized before in yourself, but all of a sudden now you're getting bad news. Like we get a lot of bad news that has to deal with numbers. Your AMH, mine was 0.68. You know, your husband's sperm count's low. You only have one embryo. When you have a focus on numbers and them being negative, you have this negative connotation with them, and you start worrying about not having enough time, money, sperm, eggs, you know, the list goes on. It can really cause a block in you and bring it to the surface for, you know, you to recognize and deal with.
And that's the thing, isn't it? We don't. And this journey has a way of bringing everything to the surface, emotions, you know, all of those self-limiting beliefs. So I guess the first step in terms of, you know, working out blockages is just recognizing them and identifying them. And how do you do that? Do you suggest journaling, or is there a technique so that you can actually just sit down? Because I don't think that we take the time to sit down and go, okay, let me think about this now. Like, how do I feel about money? Like, it's not something that you're taught how to do or to do it at all.
No, it's really not. Recognizing that you don't feel good about it is one of the first steps. It's very interesting to me that I have clients all over the world. And when I first started this work, I assumed they would all be in the US because insurance didn't cover it. And then all of a sudden, clients from the UK, from Canada, from Australia, places where they did have coverage or they did have the money and they still had the same level of stress. I have clients like rate their stress levels around money. Their levels of stress were the same. And so that's when I realized this isn't, money issues are not about money, which is unfortunate because then you can't solve them with money. But what it does do is bring to the surface these icky feelings and give you the opportunity to consider where they came from. So think about, what did you grow up watching in your house? How was your mom with money? How was your dad with money? What things did you hear about as a child about money? And that could be from other authority figures or even movies, even, other things that influence us. Money doesn't grow on trees, these sort of cliches you hear about money, the love of money is the root of all evil, these sorts of things. These thoughts that are put into our head at a really young age can affect your attitude about money. And it's really a problem when your experience is different than your spouse's. Mm-hmm. Because then your money issues can be different and they can be conflicting.
Absolutely. And so what can they do if that's the situation where there are conflicting views? How can you get to a point where, you can have a conversation about money that's on the same level?
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot to each of those. Like within the Fertile Money Club, I have a month dedicated just to money memories. We're going to have a month dedicated just to relationships and money because there's so much to unpack. But I will say that you need to consider that what money means to you might not be what money means to your spouse. And so for women, and I don't want to generalize, it's not always the case, but oftentimes we will see it as being taken care of. We go into this sort of mama bear mode because I firmly believe that we become mothers the moment we start trying to conceive. All of a sudden our priorities shift, the things we care about shift, babies are on our mind all of the time, and it's not usually that way for men. And so now so I just did a TikTok video on this. So one of the biggest money fights we had and still have is this stupid third car. We have this sports car that my husband's in love with and he refuses to get rid of it. And during our years of treatment, every time we're like, how are we going to come up with another $1,000, $2,000? I'd be like, I know a way. It's sitting in the garage. And he would be like, yeah, I'll think about it. And to me, that meant you don't love me. You don't care about our future family.
You're choosing your car over our family.
Your car over, a family.
Yeah.
And of course, that's not true. That's not what money meant to him. His attitude was, I'm willing to do anything else. It doesn't need to go that far. I can have my cake and eat it too. Like, he did not equate the two. And so I will say that might not be the case for you, but consider that it might not mean what you think it means. Mm-hmm. You need to verbalize what you think this means. Because if I say, so you're telling me you won't sell the car, he's going to say, yeah. If I say to him, so you're telling me that you don't want to have a baby with me, he's going to be like, no. So you're telling me that I'm not important? No. You have to verbalize. You have to know why it's upsetting you.
Yes. And I think that is really important, just in your own mind, working out, okay, what are the steps and what does this actually mean without, obviously pointing the finger and then getting nowhere of it. So awareness, communication, essential in terms of working out where you are. Now, what about making more money? Because that's what we want to do. So let's talk about some things that you can do to manifest money.
So I will say there's a few instant tricks that I have seen work for people literally instantly. So watch what you're saying about money. Even if it's something casual, when a friend invites you out to lunch and you're like, oh, can't go out till next payday, ha ha, joking around, or saying something, I can't afford that. Like casual things about money, really start putting it on your radar. What's my pattern here? What do I keep saying about money? Also having a visualization that is triggered, I like to have it triggered by a negative life event. So I like to have my visualization about money is it raining down from the sky, sort of like leaves falling. And I do that whenever I'm at a red light or I'm having road rage. So when people piss me off while I'm driving, I instantly am going to get mad about something. And then I remember now is my time to take a deep breath, to imagine money falling from the sky. So there's a reason, there's some psychology behind that called habit stacking, that when you attach a new habit to a habit you already have, it'll get anchored in faster. And so just picturing money falling, it calms me, it soothes me, it attracts more my way. And then I would say the third one is to change your statements into questions. So I know that it's really, really hard to get the call from your RE's office saying IVF is your only option. It's going to be $20,000. Your insurance doesn't cover this. But when you make a statement like, I can't afford this, I'm going to have to win the lottery to have IVF. I remember saying that one. When you make a statement, it's the end. It closes it off to you, your mind looking for answers, and to the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. If you change it to a question and leave it open-ended, you will start receiving answers. So instead of, I can't afford this, how can I afford this? How can I afford $20,000 for IVF? Where is this money going to come from? And be okay with the uncomfortable space of not knowing, because you are asking, literally, I've like you screamed at the universe, where is this going to come from? But then you're also activating parts of your brain that go through like little files and search for it. So if you've ever like forgotten the name of something or someone, you're like, oh, I know that. And then 3 hours later, while you're folding laundry, you're like, Rebecca, her name's Rebecca. And you're like, where did that come from? I wasn't even thinking about this anymore. Well, your subconscious was still going through the files because it has to close the loop. It's dying to know the answer. And so when you ask a question, how can I afford this? It's going through the files and it pulls out, oh, you forgot about the trust fund that grandma, invested for you when you were 5. Or, ooh, what about that job offer you had 6 months ago? You could still see if they'll, take you on part-time in addition to your full-time. Like, you're looking for solutions.
Absolutely. I love it. And I love that, you change your energy around it as well. I've actually got a money song that, when I'm paying bills or when, I'm feeling stressed about money, I'll put it on, and it's the theme song for, I don't know whether you watch on Netflix, is Suits. And it's called Greenback Booty. It is a really good song. And so that's my money song. And it raises my vibration when I'm stressed about money. So I think that's a really cool.
I have a whole playlist, but mine are really inappropriate, like thug music. I could never sing any part of this on YouTube. Like,
well, you never know, you might get on TikTok.
Excellent. I'll put it on TikTok, but I can't put it anywhere else. So I do love that, because it changes your feelings around money. It attracts more your way, and you are less likely to reject it, to turn it down, to say it's not enough, to come up with, to let your money blocks influence the decision. Now, money is a fun thing. It's a good thing, and it's okay to talk about.
Absolutely. Because I think there's such a stigma in talking about money as well. Like, you don't talk about politics or money or, all of these things with different people. So, yeah.
It's like all the taboos in one. Don't talk about your, genitalia. Don't talk about reproduction. Don't talk about money. Like, it really is every taboo. That's why I'm just going to put it out there and
let's just do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Excellent. Devon, it has been a complete pleasure talking to you. How can people who are watching, how can they get their hands on your free PDF download on how to fund your fertility?
Yeah, so go to Devon Baeza, DevonBaeza.com/10ways, and you'll find Fund Your Fertility 10 Easy and Effective Ways. And I'm listing out 10 of, some of them are truly bizarre, weird ways that I've made money, or that people I know firsthand have, because I know when you're like in a panic mode searching for how to make more money to fund your treatment, you can go down some rabbit holes that you're a little iffy on the internet. So here's some guaranteed ways. I promise they're legit. I promise I've made money. In fact, in the last year, I've made $10,000 doing what's listed there.
Excellent. So no go to the casino, bet on black,
Sorry,
no tips at races or anything like that. All healthy ways. All healthy ways.
Yeah, no super fun ways. We're not talking, I don't have that kind of magic, all right? My manifesting doesn't work in casinos per se. Although I did have a client who changed what she said about money and had a winning lottery ticket the same day.
Ooh.
So maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't recommend it, but maybe it does.
It has been a complete pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching as well. So if you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, make sure you give it a like, share it, and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well so that you don't miss out on any other of these amazing interviews as part of the Infertility Unfiltered series. So thank you so much for watching.